There's so many ways to enjoy the Blue Hills. You don't have to be an expert to try out scaling the cliffs at Quincy Quarries. I'm Judy Lara Jacobs, the Executive Director of the Friends of the Blue Hills.
I'm Doug Martlin from Eastern Mountain Sports Climbing School.
Great. And you're watching Blue Hills Alive, your weekly guide to the Blue Hills, sponsored by Tom O'Neill of Success Real Estate in Milton. If you have never been to the Quincy Quarries and are interested in learning about rock climbing in the Blue Hills, you'll want to continue watching. So let's get started. So you do want to start by talking about why someone would even think about climbing?
Climbing is just a different way of moving across terrain. You get to explore all sorts of different aspects of the world, climbing vertically as opposed to walking horizontally or even sort of diagonally uphill. But it's a great opportunity to get just a very different perspective on the world around you.
I imagine that a lot of climbing has to do with safety and making sure people are secure. Do you want to show us some of the equipment that they use?
Sure. So there's a few pieces of equipment that a beginning climber is going to need to do climbing on ropes, whatever style that may be. The first one is a harness. That's a pretty straightforward piece of equipment that you just slide on, step into. Just like this, one leg, it goes on just like a pair of pants. Two legs, sort of slide it all the way up around your waist. And then tighten the strap around the waist. So this is the harness. It has a loop here for the belay loop. And then it has two hard loops, one around your waist and one around your legs where you capture the climbing rope as you tie into the rope to climb. And the idea is that if you fall, your harness will hold you as opposed to plummeting down to the ground. Historically, people would just, this back in the very old days, people would just tie the rope around their waist. And you can imagine that's rather uncomfortable if you were to fall and that rope would be tightening around you. So this is a bit more comfortable. That it's a padded waist belt, padded leg belt, so you can hang out on the rock if you do happen to fall. The other big thing that climbers really enjoy are climbing shoes. When it's your turn to actually climb on the rock, you put on a pair of shoes like this. They have nice sticky rubber on the bottom. And they have very strong edges so that you're able to stand on the smallest holds on the rock that you can imagine, sort of pebble size or anything small that you can get your feet on. And you'd be amazed that when you put your weight on the shoe, how it's able to hold you onto the rock. So these are the two big things for most people that are getting out climbing: shoes and a harness. And then there's a variety of equipment that you develop or that you acquire after that, but these are the two big things to get started.
Got it. And how would someone get started?
So there's a variety of ways to get started. One way is to tag along with some more experienced friends who have been climbing for a while. Another way is to go to many of the local climbing gyms where you can get started in an indoor environment, a little bit more controlled environment. And the third way is to take a lesson. There's a variety of groups, including the Eastern Mountain Sports Climbing School, that offer introductory lessons that take you from putting on the harness to climbing up the rock for the first time to getting out on your own, setting up your own top rope anchors, or learning to lead. So there are about 20 different cliffs here at Quincy Quarries. They're all numbered, or they're all named by letter, starting with A and going to Q or R. They are different in style. Some of them are sort of vertical granite climbs, like the one that we're next to here, as well as around the corner. Some of the climbs here are what's called a bit more slabby, so they're a little less vertical, but a little bit easier to climb for a beginner, but also requiring a different style and technique. So the angle is one thing that influences the difficulty of the climbing. The other thing that influences it is the availability of holds or features on the rock that you as a climber would want to put your hands and feet on. So sometimes you could have a slab that's not fully vertical, but it's featureless, and so it can be very difficult to climb, even though you might look at it and say, oh, I can do that, I've hiked up something just like it. The truth is, maybe it's a little more vertical than you think, and it's actually really tricky. And then on these vertical faces, you're looking for routes that have a lot of features so that you have some grip and that you have places to put your feet. And then on each of these 20 faces or areas, there's a number of different routes, all of which are named in the guidebook, the Boston Rocks guidebook, if you're interested in learning the name. And each one generally goes, straight up. So, on this area, on this 45, 50-foot area here, there's probably 8 or 9 different routes that reach the top of the cliff.
Well, I think a lot of people haven't been to Quincy Quarries before. Can you give us a sense of where we are?
It is right off Rakuchi Road, I think that's how you pronounce it. Very easily accessed from a parking lot right on the road on the way up to the Quarry Hills Golf. And essentially you walk in about 100 yards and there you are in the Quincy Quarries. They're a former quarrying operation that's since been filled in with big dig dirt, but many of the quarries rise up as cliffs from the ground level.